Okay, welcome to session 5 days in a row now of this new um, streaming series that I'm doing called Revolution Live. Um, so before we start discussing actual topics, I just want to make a few announcements. Last night, Elik and I uploaded the new episode of the Yalla podcast. This is part 2 of our conversation with Muhammad, who lives in Gaza, who is now enduring the horrible conditions imposed by Israel, by the Zionist occupation on Gaza. Inside this genocide, this ongoing genocide that has been happening ever since October 7th. So it's over 15 months now. 15 months this genocide has been going on. And Muhammad is still with us, is still alive and kicking, but he is still one of the victims of this genocide, because victims are not just people who were murdered. Victims are also people who have to endure hardship. I think the sound here is not good because I didn't connect my microphone. I will connect the microphone. Yes, okay. Can you guys hear me well now? If there are any viewers, can you please tell me how well you can hear me? I'm putting the microphone as close to me as I can. Can you hear me, guys? Please write in the chat if you can hear me. Okay, no one is writing in the chat. Should I assume that you guys are hearing me? Let me see. I can hear you. We're just very few listeners still. Yes. Okay. Microphone. Yes. Okay. It seems like everything should be working correctly. Okay. So I will start again. Welcome everybody to session 5 of this new series that I started called Revolution Live. We are now on a 5-day streak. Yay for us. So I started recording because I had a very unpleasant experience just right now, like in the last 2 hours, which is a continuation of the experience I told you about in the second session of this series. I don't know, confrontations that I had with some people in the vegan north, which maybe should be called the Zionist north. I don't know, the liberal north, whatever. There are some developments on this front. But before we begin, I want to just make a few announcements. So last night, Elik and I uploaded the new episode of the Yalla podcast. That's over on Elik's channel, Sound of Anarchy. And in this episode, we have this is the second part of our conversation with Muhammad. Muhammad Zrai lives in Gaza. He was born in Gaza and he lived there all his life. He never left Gaza, even for one day of his life. And he has been enduring the horrible conditions that Israel, the Zionist regime, the Zionist occupation of Palestine, has been imposing on the Gaza Strip for 15 months now, over 15 months now, ever since October 7th, 2023. 15 months of horrible atrocities being carried out by the Zionist regime in Gaza. And Muhammad is one of the victims of this genocide. He is still alive. He is still kicking. He is still with us and as active as ever. But I still think that in a very real sense, he is one of the victims of this genocide, because you don't have to be it even if you are not killed in this genocide, you are still a victim of horrible conditions. Of he lost family, he lost friends, his entire neighborhood has been bombed. He is surrounded by refugees, twice over and three times over. The conditions of hunger, the conditions of thirst, the conditions of no medical treatment, a lot of problems. Everyone in Gaza is suffering now. All 2.3 million people, or maybe now less than 2.3 million people, all of them are victims of this genocide. All of them are suffering greatly. For 15 months now, for over 15 months. There have been talks of a ceasefire. Muhammad told me that he is hoping that this actually happens, that there is a ceasefire, because this would make a significant difference in his own personal life. Let's hope that there is a ceasefire, even though, as you know, a ceasefire is only, the very minimal beginning of anything that resembles a modicum of sanity. It is far, far, far from all we need to achieve to make the situation better. But in any case, please watch our conversation, the second part of our conversation with Muhammad on Elix channel, Sound of Anarchy. In this conversation, we talk about what's going on in Gaza. It took us a while to edit this episode and to upload it, so this conversation is already a few weeks old, but it is still highly relevant. We talk about the conditions in the Gaza Strip. Muhammad tells us about what's going on there. We talk about the centrality of the refugee issue to this crisis that we have in Palestine. The issue of Palestinian refugees, which is something that the Zionist regime and basically all Zionists want to ignore as much as they can, this refugee issue and the importance of the right of return as a necessary condition for the start of anything that resembles a solution for what's going on here. And we discussed the ODSI, the One Democratic State Initiative, which Muhammad is a member of. He is an organizer in Gaza of the ODSI. And Elik and I started working with them we've been working with them for a couple of months now, more and more and more. And we want to bring together a future where the entire area between the river and the sea, the entire area called Palestine, is one democratic state for all its inhabitants who live in Palestine freely, equally, together in cooperation. And to achieve this goal, we know that we have to topple the Zionist regime, that we have to dismantle the Zionist system of oppression, of supremacy, of theft, of murder, of genocide. This system must be dismantled for any chance to get equality, justice, cooperation, peace, actual peace, not the peace of the masters, which is just when the oppressed agree to remain oppressed. This is not actual peace. and this is what liberal Zionists want. They want peace on their own terms. This is not what we want. We want actual peace. We want a peace where everyone is satisfied, where everyone has what they need and what they deserve. A peace with justice. If you say peace and do not say justice, you are not truly for peace. You are just a manipulator. Okay, so as I said, I started this session because I was feeling quite crappy. I was feeling quite crappy because there was a development in the situation I described that happened on last Friday. I described it in the second session of this series, and please go watch the second session to hear what it's about. But just to be just briefly, so there is a group of activists, supposed activists for animal liberation, and you will understand why I say supposed as we progress in this story, called the Vegan North. They are active mainly in Haifa, which is in the north of Israel, occupied Palestine. And I used to do a lot of activism with them. This is where I met my girlfriend. And I used to be a very prominent member of this group. But on October 7th, this broke down. So in the WhatsApp group of this activism group, the kind of organizer of the group, the self-proclaimed leader of the group, decided that he's going to send a message that is going to bring everyone together. But how? In support of the victims of the attack of the 7th of October on Israel, only the Israeli victims, only them, in support of the troops who are now fighting to defend us, the usual Zionist messaging, because he is a hardcore Zionist, as I realized very quickly. Like, I knew that he was a Zionist, but I didn't realize how much of a Zionist he is until this moment and what transpired after. And I dared challenge this. I dared mention the Palestinians. I dared mention that they are also victims of what's going on here. I dared mention that there were already on the 7th of October in the evening, there were already hundreds of Palestinian victims of the bombings of the Zionist army in Gaza. I dared mention this, and this made everyone in this group gang up on me and attack me personally. And this is where when I left the group to avoid being attacked personally. And ever since, so after that, there were a few more interactions where I was attacked personally, more and more and more, for my, radical, extreme political positions that no one should be murdered. Really, really extreme to be against the murder of anyone. Vegans are the ones who should really know how extreme it is to be against the murder of anyone. Very consistent with the vegan position to say that it's extreme to be against the murder of anyone. Anyway, so ever since then, I did not cooperate with the Vegan North, but on Friday, 15 months after October 7th, I decided to join another of their actions. These actions basically stopped after October 7th. They decided that it was not the time to talk to Israelis about the rights of non-human animals, about liberation of non-human animals. And therefore, they basically stopped doing any activism in the Vegan North. They returned in the last few months. They have been returning very, very slowly to activity. I think this is another very telling thing. I talk a lot about how when you oppose only one form of oppression, you don't really oppose that form of oppression either. Because if you are part of the system in other aspects, it will penetrate and influence your activism against other the forms of oppression that you supposedly do oppose. So we see this in a very clear way, uh, because the members of the vegan North are, the vast majority of them are Zionists to certain degrees, different degrees, but as you know, a Zionist is a Zionist, full stop. There's no different degrees of Zionist, of Zionism, not really. Uh, some Zionists say what they believe out loud, which is that this entire space belongs to Jews and should be reserved for Jews, and other Zionists lie about this. The first kind is called fascist Zionists, and the second kind is called liberal Zionists. But as the expression goes, scratch a liberal and a fascist bleeds. And this is a story about scratching a liberal and seeing how a fascist bleeds. Hello from Brazil. Hello back from occupied Palestine. Happy to catch up. I've always missed your lives. Okay, wonderful. I'm glad that you're here. Okay, if there are any comments, you are welcome to write them in the chat. All non-Zionists are welcome to Brazil. Thank you, bro. You're welcome to write any comments in the chat. I was thinking that it kind of stops my track of thought and distracts me if I answer comments too much. Greetings from the Constitution State. I'm sorry, but what is the Constitution State? So, as I was saying, it kind of distracts me to answer to comments all the time. So maybe what I will do is Connecticut. Why is Connecticut called the Constitution State? Interesting. Is this where the American Constitution was written? Now I see a connection between the United States Constitution and the Declaration of Independence of Israel. It's both are documents that promise a lot, where the intention was never to deliver those promises. The Constitution was hidden in a charter oak tree. Interesting. Did you know that my name, Alon, means oak tree in Hebrew? Alon is oak tree in Hebrew. I have a tree on this shirt. I don't think it's an oak tree. I just think it's a generic drawing of a tree. But ironically, my dad explains that one of the reasons that they chose, that my parents chose this name for me, Alon, is that there is a famous figure in Zionism, Yigal Alon. Yigal Alon was a military general. Let me see exactly in which organization. Former acting prime minister of Israel? Was he? I didn't know he was acting prime minister of Israel. Yigal Alon. Okay, let's see. Was an Israeli military leader and politician. He was a commander of the Palmach. Okay, Palmach. So this is one of the groups that later formed the IDF, the Israeli Defense Forces, the Israeli Genocide Forces, the Zionist army. So he was a commander of the Palmach and a general in the Israeli Defense Forces. He was also a leader of the Achdut HaAvodah and Israeli Labor parties. The Israeli Labor Party. He served briefly as acting Prime Minister of Israel between the death of Levi Eshkol and the appointment of Golda Meir in 1969. I did not know that. Nice. Alon was the first native-born Israeli, native-born Israeli, native-born Israeli. When he was born in 1918, Israel did not exist, but still they call him a native-born Israeli. He was the first native-born Israeli to serve as Prime Minister of Israel. The first elected native-born Prime Minister would later be Yitzhak Rabin in 1974. Interesting. Native-born Israeli, born in 1918, before Israel existed. One of the many contradictions of Zionism. Another contradiction of Zionism is that I, the most staunch anti-Zionist that I personally know, is named after this guy who was an integral part of constructing and maintaining the Zionist project, Yigal Allon. But I want to connect with the better meaning of this name, the oak tree. The oak tree. Not because the US Constitution was hidden in an oak tree, but because this concept of an oak tree kind of represents a connection to the land. The cover photo of my channel is a Palestinian oak tree. There is a specific strand of oak called Palestine oak. I dabbled for a few minutes with naming this channel Palestine Oak. Let me change my greetings to being from Turtle Island, which is what this country should be. Yes, it would be preferable. Zionism is a collection of contradictions. Yes. A lot of contradictions. Let's continue. So where was I? Can anyone remind me where I was? I keep... I was saying that when I answer comments, I usually lose my train of thought, which is exactly what happened. And thus, I want to maybe say that maybe what I will do is I will tell the story or talk about what I want to talk about. If there are highly relevant comments, I will refer to them if they, are connected to the train of thought. But if they're not, I will leave them to the end. In the end, I will do 10-15 minutes where I just answer comments. Okay, does that sound good? I don't know. I will do it anyway, even if it doesn't sound good to you, because I decide what I do. Anyway, so I will tell the story. Sounds good. Thank you, Jay. I haven't told anything yet. Tamar is saying, I haven't told anything yet. I will tell. So, after this incident that happened on Friday in this action of the Vegan North, what happened was that I went up to someone to talk to them about, ending animal slavery. And then it turned out that this young fellow that I started talking with, I started by asking him the question, are you vegan or do you support the Holocaust? Because there are only two options. Being vegan means that you stopped supporting the Holocaust of non-human animals in the industries of exploitation, enslavement, murder, and rape. And he said neither. And I told him, no, if you are not vegan, you support the Holocaust. Then it turned out that his family owns a dairy farm. So his family is a slave-owning family. He is intimately involved in the enslavement of cows for the production of milk and meat. So, so he is personally involved in raping cows, in forcibly impregnating them, in taking their calves away from them minutes after they are born. Cows in the dairy industry are raped forcibly impregnated every single year. By the way, the bulls are also raped for this. What they do is, I don't know, maybe this video will be deleted because I am just describing what happens. I do not support this. I object to this. This is why I want to describe. I'm telling this to YouTube. This is why I'm describing this so that this stops. What happens is that they take an electric shocker and they press it up against the testicles of the bull. Then the bull gets an electric shock, and the semen of the bull comes out. They collect the semen of the bull. This is another form of rape, in my opinion, and also just by definition. They collect the semen from the bull. They put the semen in a box. They send the box to the dairy farm. Then they take the semen. The the slave owner, shoves his arm into the cow through one orifice, and then he shoves a huge metal pipe up another orifice, and he injects the semen taken from the bull into the cow. This is done every single year to every cow in the dairy industry. This is just a thing that is done. They admit it. They do not. They try to hide it, but they don't try very hard. If you just look up what happens, you will see that this is just a fact. Damn, I guess the dairy industry there brings a new meaning to Jizrael. But come on, this is something that happens all over the world. This is not unique to Israel. This is not unique to anywhere specific. This happens all over the world. Carnism is an ideology that has taken over the entire planet. The vast majority of humans are part of this supremacy system called human supremacy. They are part, they cooperate willingly with. Yes, I know. I just wanted to make that joke. Okay, and I'm going to okay, I'm going to use this joke to make the point. The point is that this happens all over the world. This happens millions of times every single year. I don't know how many times. Millions, tens of millions, hundreds of millions of times every single year. And it happens to every cow in the dairy industry every year. They forcibly impregnate her. And after she has finished being pregnant and she gives birth to a baby calf, the calf is immediately taken away from her. If the calf is male, then the calf is kept in a small cage, only slightly bigger than the calf himself, so that the calf may not move, so that the muscles of the calf remain soft and supple and tasty. And a few months after the calf is born, the calf is slaughtered, killed, murdered, his corpse dismembered, divided into parts, and sent to supermarkets and butcher shops all over the world. Yes, it's called veal at that point. Veal, another euphemism. Veal. The calf is the dismembered corpse is sent to these stores where consumers buy them. They burn the parts of the dismembered corpse. They consume the parts of the dismembered corpse. They have a few minutes of very superficial and, in my opinion, disgusting carnal delight at the expense of the baby calf. Then their digestive system digests the dismembered and burnt parts of the corpse of the calf, and then they go to the bathroom and they shit out the digested parts, the digested, burnt parts of the dismembered corpse of the calf who was killed, murdered, slaughtered after being kept for months in a cage, only slightly bigger than their own body. This happens millions, tens of millions, hundreds of millions of times every single day, all over the world. If the calf is female, then uh, she has a different fate. She is not slaughtered after a few months, but she is enslaved for her entire life. Again, continuing this cycle of rape every single year, forcibly impregnated every single year, and thus the cycle continues. This is the dairy industry. Don't let anyone tell you that it is anything different from that. It is that. That is the meaning of the dairy industry. If you pay money to buy cheese, to buy milk, to buy any dairy products, anything that contains dairy, you are paying money so that this continues to happen. This is the meaning of this. Everything that I said now is just facts. It's not even my opinion. It's just facts. If you are paying money to buy dairy products, to buy milk, to buy cheeses, and so forth and so on, this is what you are paying for. You are paying for this to continue. And the guy that I spoke with on Friday is one of the people who are actively doing this. His family owns a dairy farm. He was an active participant in actually carrying this out. He had the nerve to tell me that the cows are happy, that the cows are free, that their slaves are free and happy. I am sure, I am absolutely positive that in the 18th and 19th century, in the US, when there was slavery in the US, if you talk to a white slave owner in the US, they would tell you that their black slaves are free and happy. I'm sure that they would insist on it, just like dairy farmers insist that the cows that they enslave are free and happy. And it is as true in both cases, which is completely untrue, a complete lie. So I continued to speak with this guy, and I told him, you are a Nazi and a murderer. He demanded that I stop. He demanded that I go away. I did not agree. I continued to tell the truth to this person because, consumers of this industry at least have a modicum of plausible deniability. I don't think that absolves them of responsibility. Far from it. In fact, it does not. But at least they can say that they have plausible deniability. I only go to the supermarket and buy products. This guy, his family owns the dairy farm. He has no plausible deniability. None whatsoever. Not even, the argument. He cannot even make the argument. He is a Nazi. He is a murderer. He is a rapist. He actually did those things. But this is not even about him. So what happened was that him and his friends were very upset with me for not giving up and not stopping to tell them the truth, which is that they are murderers and Nazis. And they got very, very upset, very, very aggressive, and very, very violent. And you will see this theme of me not giving up the basic truth, not succumbing to the threats of others. You will see how this again and again and again exposes these people for what they are and for who they are. And this is one of the reasons that I think that this is important, to do this, to not give up. Because when you give up, because when you censor yourself, or when you stop talking, or when you agree to the terms of those who try to obfuscate the truth and to, keep the peace, to violently keep the peace, oxymoronically, when you give up, you allow them the opportunity to continue to pretend as if what they are doing is not violent, as if what they are doing is not oppressive, as if what they are doing is not using their position, their privileged position of power, to shut you up because it's more convenient to them. You allow them to continue saying that what is happening is peace. You allow them to continue saying that what is happening is okay. But it's not. It's not. None of it is okay. I said yesterday that this session is going to be about creating antagonism. Creating antagonism. And I thought it's going to be about something else, but in reality, it is about this. It is about this. We need to create antagonism. You know why? Because we are never the ones who create antagonism. The radicals, the revolutionaries, the people who demand justice, who demand the end of the violence, the end of the oppression, we are not the ones who are creating antagonism. The antagonism is already there. The antagonism is already there, and we just expose it. We just bring it from below the surface to above the surface. We just make it apparent. Please create more and more and more antagonism. You know why? Because when there is antagonism below the surface, it is better for it to be above the surface, to be apparent. Because only when it is apparent can we start healing it. As long as it remains below the surface, we cannot address it. We cannot really deal with it, and we cannot heal it. Please create more and more and more antagonism. Okay, so the real story here is how my fellow activists responded to this, how they acted. So, one of the activists, his name is Gidon. He is a Nazi in the Zionist sense. And he's not one of those liberal Zionists who are Nazis who pretend not to be Nazis. He is an outright Nazi, just a very proud Nazi. If you go to his Facebook profile, for example, you will see a lot of genocidal slogans, like explicitly genocidal slogans. You will see that he supports the Jewish party. Hold on, Jewish Power Party. The name of the party, I kid you not, the name of the party that he supports is Otzma Yehudit. Jewish power. This is what it literally means in Hebrew. Jewish party. This guy votes for the Jewish Power Party. This is the kind of guy that he is. And he's the guy who sent me on October 7th, he sent me the message that Gaza should be turned into a soap factory. Soap factory, this is a reference to the Holocaust. He said it's very obvious that what he said is we need to inflict a Holocaust on Gaza. This is what he said on October 7th. And this is one of the reasons that I spoke up and that everyone ganged up on me and that I had to leave the WhatsApp group on the evening of October 7th. This guy, when he saw that the Nazis were attacking me, the Nazis that he is supposedly against, he started yelling at me. He started behaving like a kid who lost a soccer match, and he is now crying to his mama. He was like, "Allah always ruins everything," like this. And then he went away, to express his, dismay with what happened. And this was probably partly a personal vendetta against me, and also partly his position that we should not speak to carnists. We should not tell the truth to carnists because it is not pragmatic, because it is not tactical, because it creates antagonism. But I think the real reason that he doesn't want to speak the truth to carnists is that he identifies with them. Is that he still wants to be part of this society. He desperately wants to be part of Zionist society. This is why uh, he is the kind of fascist that he is, because uh, when he behaves like this, he gets support from other people in society that he would not get in any other way. Okay. And then another activist came to me and told me that if I don't come down, he will have to remove me from the space. And he was very authoritative against me. And I stood my ground against him. And I told him, by what right will you remove me from the space? Who are you? And an argument ensued, so forth, so on. And then they decided to stop the action, to wrap everything up and to go away. Not because something was actually ruined because of my actions, but just because they didn't like the way that I behaved and they wanted to express their dismay with my horrible behavior, telling the truth to Nazis that they are supposedly against, to slave owners, no less than they are supposedly against. Fast forward to today, and I decided that I will not be removed from the space, that I'm going to fight this. So I sent a message to one of the admins of the WhatsApp group, the Vegan North WhatsApp group, who is supposed to be a good guy, who is supposed to be a friend of mine, who is supposed to be someone that I like and who likes me. And I told him, bro, this is what happened. I want you to add me back to the WhatsApp group, because I didn't want to. Because okay, so after what happened, Nadav and Gidon, they wrote in the WhatsApp group and they mischaracterized everything that happened. They lied and they presented me as if I was the problematic one. And what happened is that they used the fact that I was not in the space to present me as a problem, to push me away as much as they could. So I wrote to this guy Leo, and I told him, "Bro, add me back to the WhatsApp group." And I will try to read you to sum up the correspondence, because I think it's very interesting. Okay, so I recorded a message to him. I explained to him what happened, and I demanded to be added back to the WhatsApp group. He said, "Hi, I don't know what happened. It sounds very, מקומם. How do you say מקומם in English? Hold on. מקומם. נשמע מאוד מקומם. Hold on. מקומם. מקומם באנגלית. Hold on 1 second. Outrageous. It sounds outrageous. I don't know if outrageous is the most accurate translation, but never mind. It sounds outrageous. I agree that you have the right to be in the group, and I will certainly add you back to the group. Sounds good, doesn't it? I'm afraid that a direct discussion about what happened will stir up stuff in the group. So I would be happy to be a buffer and to understand what happened in the last action, and to deal with this myself before I bring you back to the group. Can you expand on what happened? Then I sent him a very long message and I described to him what happened in great detail, just as I described to you. And he answered, "Thank you for sharing. I will listen to more sides of the story and I will come back to you with conclusions." I told him, "Okay, thanks. But regardless, are you adding me back to the group? I don't think it should depend on this discussion." Because to me, it felt like I was now on, in an exam. Am I worthy? Am I worthy to come back to the group? Gidon is still in the group. He does not need to pass an exam. Nadav is still in the group. He does not need to pass an exam. Although Gidon wanted to kick me out, and although Nadav threatened to kick me out, River, who said, and this is a direct quote, "Why are you behaving like this? Is that the only thing that makes your dick hard?" So River, who is a very nice boy. Oh, my name is River. I'm so nice. I'm gender fluid. I'm a gentle soul. Blah 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 blah. Oh, this is the only thing that makes your dick hard. This is the kind of guy. He is still in the group. There's no exam that he needs to pass. But I need to pass an exam before I am added back to the group. So I said, "Are you going to put me back in the group? I don't think it should depend on this discussion. I am not on trial here." He said, "It's very important to me to first deal with this story." So I recorded a message to him and I told him what I said to you now. I don't think that I don't like this. I don't like what's going on here. And then he said, "I'm not interested in the group heating up, in things stirring up in the group. This is legitimate. You are welcome to open a group with whoever you want and open a discussion there. But in the Vegan North, in the group of the Vegan North, such a discussion will not happen." This is where the liberal, the liberal who just wants everyone to get along. This was his position to begin with. I just want everyone to get along. I agree with you that you have the right to be in the group. I agree with you. I agree with you. This is the moment that the liberal start. There are cracks in the liberalism, and the fascism starts to come out. Such a discussion will not happen. I'm going over the incident that happened in the last action, and I want to see how we can prevent such situations in the future. Here is one suggestion. Maybe activists should not threaten other activists to kick them out of the space. Maybe. I didn't put you on the defendant's chair. I'm looking for a way to make this to make the activity pleasant and containing. I don't know, and like mutually containing. I don't know if there's an expression for this in Hebrew. It's all the language here. I need to explain this because there's no way to translate this language. It's like, yeah, inclusive and thank you, Shaked, and inclusive for all of us. But there's no way to capture the vibe of this. This is like when someone is passively aggressively trying to like placate you. It's placating. This is the liberal side. So you see the transformation between liberal fascist. He is threatening me and policing me, but then retreating to the liberal side. It's very confusing. I didn't put you on the defendant's chair, but he did. It's just a fact that he did. He made he conditioned my return to this space on me behaving nicely. And you will see that I did not behave nicely in his opinion, and therefore I will not be returned to the group. You will see. So he did put me on the defendant's chair. This is a lie. Liberals always lie. Liberals lie to pretend that they are not actually fascists, but they are. Then I recorded a few messages to him, and I told him, listen, there are people who are still in the space who behaved horribly and who are now speaking against me and using the fact that I am not in the space to speak against me and to present things as if I am at fault. I don't think that it is just for me to not be in the space. Return me to the space, and then I'm willing to have the discussion about what happened and how to prevent, but this should not depend on it. So he says, I'm sorry to hear that they continued speaking about what happened in the group. I agree that it is unfair and it is not a conversation that should happen. What are you going to do about it then? Not much, as you will see. I am not kicking you out. For now, as you will see. Your return to the group, he supports the two group chat solution. Wonderful, wonderful. Yes, yes, yes. Lior is indeed a liberal Zionist. He is indeed a liberal Zionist. And the fact that he is a liberal Zionist is very much connected to the fact that he is not radical, and is very much connected to the fact that he is going to behave like a fascist when he gets a position of power, even when this position of power is inside a supposed struggle against oppression. So you see, being a fascist in being not radical, which in my opinion just makes you a fascist. There's either you're either a radical or a fascist. You're either an anarchist or a fascist. This is my opinion. Being not radical on one front makes you behave like a fascist on other fronts. This is a virus that knows no boundaries. You have to eradicate it completely. Also, you emphasized you weren't going to have this discussion in this WhatsApp group. Yes, yes. I also told him I'm not going to stir up, trouble. I'm not going to do it, even though why does this depend? I also agreed to his terms. This is another thing that I need to tell you. Fascists, and again, liberals are a kind of fascist. Fascists, if you give them an inch, they want the whole mile, okay? In Hebrew, תן להם אצבע והם רוצים את כל היד. Give them one finger and they want the entire arm. If you may think that when you are talking with a liberal, then giving them some of their demands would help progress things. I want to tell you that this has not been my experience ever. Always, when I gave them some of what they want, it didn't help. Okay, it didn't. It might help placate them for a short time, but it won't help in the long run. Don't fall for this. Okay. I am not kicking you out. Returning you to the group at this moment will not help reach a situation where we work together. Who decided this? He decided this. Why? Because he has the power. And he's using his power to say what I think is the correct thing. And what you think is incorrect. No discussion. No discussion. If it's important to you to return to activity, what do you mean? If it's important to you? Yes, I want to return. Why was I not active? Because I was kicked out before. I was like, okay, I'm going to put all this confrontation to the side and I'm going to just come back and ignore the fact that people were nasty towards me. If it's important to you to go back to action, let me understand how to prevent such confrontation in the future and to see that everyone is in agreement about conditions for an atmosphere that allows cooperative action. I'm not even going to interpret. It's just bullshit upon bullshit. And then I told him I do not accept what he said. I recorded messages again. I told him I do not accept what you're saying. I demand to be returned to the WhatsApp group immediately. I will not be put on trial. I will not be tested. I will not agree to any conditions. It is my right, as much as it is the right of anyone else in this group to be in this group. And it is my right more than it is other people. For example, if someone in the group threatens to kick others out of the group, then it is not their right to be in the group. That's what I believe. But okay, I'm willing to let people who threaten to kick me out of the group stay in the group. I'm willing to even let someone who said that they want to destroy an entire population of millions of people just because they are Palestinians and he is a Jew and he feels that he is above them. I'm willing to let him stay in this space. I will not demand to kick him out, but I am not willing to agree to having conditions on me coming back. Now he says, okay, I will. אני אעשה סדר. I will explain things more clearly. The group is not open to everyone, and it is not a right that you are born with. If you want to act together for the animals, wonderful. Of course I do. I do. They don't. I do. They don't. They don't want to act together with me for animals. I want to act together with everyone for animals. There are conditions to this so that we can act together even if there are different political perceptions. So let me just remind you, vegan apartheid. Let me just remind you that the different political perceptions are that one person thinks that millions of people should be destroyed, and the other political perception is that they should not be destroyed and that everyone should live equally. These are the different political perceptions, and now you can see liberal Zionists for all their glory. The way that they frame this and what's going on is that there is a discussion between two different political perceptions. One is the perception, the genocidal perception, and one is the non-genocidal perception. This is the way they think about politics. I wonder what Lior thinks about different political perceptions. One political perception is that the non-human animal holocaust is a-okay and that eating animals is really good. And the other political perception is that it's not okay and that we should stop murdering non-human animals. What do you think about that, Leo, if you're watching? I request to end the discussion here. Now he's like, stop bothering me. Stop being so problematic. Stop bothering me. Stop bothering me. You're harassing me. So I told him that I disagree with what with all of this. I told him basically what I'm telling you now. And I screenshotted the message where he said, I agree that you have the right to be in the group, and I will certainly add you back to the group. I told him, your last message contradicts what you wrote here. What changed? He says, now the fascist is on display. The conditions will be specified when I finish the arbitration and אסדיר את הנושא. And the language it's just legalese now. It's just legalese. אסדיר את הנושא בקבוצה and regulate the subject inside the group. Just legalese now. Legalese. Settle. It's not settle. It's like, yeah, it's settle. It means settle, but the connotations are very legalese. Okay, you understand. I got upset about this. I recorded a message to him and I said that this success. He said, I understand your feeling of injustice. Now everything is feelings. It's not that there is injustice. Settle the dispute just like the West Bank. Yes, exactly. Yes, that's true. Now it's a feeling of injustice. I feel injustice. It's not that there is injustice. I feel injustice. You, Lior, feel injustice about what's going on to non-human animals. You feel injustice. I understand that you feel injustice about this, but I feel that it's not injustice. I feel that it's okay and that I can just eat non-human animals. What do you say about this, Lior? I understand your feeling of injustice. However, This is something that I like pointing out every time it happens. When someone says blah 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 blah, but the vast majority of cases, the only thing that actually matters is what comes after the but, not before the but. Before the but, it's lip service. After the but is what they really want to say. And however is just a fancy but. However, you have nothing to argue with me or demand your rights from me. It does not promote anything. And then I sent him a message that made it clear that the only reason that I'm talking to him is because he has the technical possibility to add me back to the group. I'm not. I don't think that he really deserves this power. He just made himself the admin of the group at some point in the past, and that gives him the technical possibility to bring me back to the group. I'm not demanding my rights from him. He has no real authority here. He just has the technical possibility, and this is why I'm demanding it from him and not anyone else. And his response to me when I told him, there is a situation here. There is a situation here. They wanted to kick me out of the group. They managed to kick me out of the group. They don't want me in the space. Now you are behaving as if you are just a neutral party. He is the gatekeeper manning the hegemonic checkpoint. Exactly, precisely. Because he is behaving as he is just an uninvolved neutral party. He is behaving as if he has no moral responsibility here. But he does. Because the moment that he decides to not put me back in the group, even though he has the technical possibility to do so, he has already decided he is not an innocent bystander anymore. He has the power, and he chose to use the power to keep me out and not bring me back in. So this is the thing. He's not just following orders. He's not. It's not even that. He is the head. He is the head. He has a lot of power in this situation, just by the fact that he can click a button and bring me back into the WhatsApp group, into the space that I was kicked out of. And he is behaving as if he is a neutral, party here. And I told him, the moment that you exercise your power to kick me out of the group, you are now morally responsible. And I compared it to carnists. I told him, carnists behave as if they, I'm just going to the supermarket and I'm just buying the meat, I'm just buying the milk, I'm just buying the eggs. What's the problem? This is where they pretend that they don't have a moral responsibility. But the moment that they use the power that they have to continue to pay to these industries of rape, murder, subjugation, enslavement, then they are morally responsible as well. And I compared it to what he is doing. His response was, buy. One word, buy. And then he blocked me. And I must say that this also hurt me on a very personal level. I thought that this person was a friend of mine. Yesterday I spoke about how these systems of oppression put mind viruses into the minds of people who are supposed to be your friends, family, acquaintances, co-workers, just people in the street. They all have the mind virus. And then they don't really exist. It's not them anymore. They are zombies who are serving the system now. And Leo does not exist anymore because I went against the system that he is part of, the liberal system, the Zionist system. Because I went against this, he is no longer my friend. He is no longer a person that I can actually speak with. His response is bye. He's now nasty towards me. He is now hurting my feelings. No longer individuals, just cogs in the machine. Yes, you are right. No longer individuals, just cogs in the machine. Such a shame. Yes, it is a great shame. Because Leo, I keep saying that I believe that everyone is a good person. And here is why I believe that everyone is a good person. Because I see a lot of people who I know for a fact are good people. My father, for example, my sister, both my sisters, my mother, a lot of people who I used to call friends, Leo, for example, and also myself in certain times in my past. People who I know are good people behaving in horrible ways and committing horrible acts just because the systems took over their minds, took over their hearts, took over their souls, and made them do things that are contrary to the fact that they are fundamentally good people. I used to eat animals. I used to eat animals. I was in the Israeli army. I was in the Zionist armed forces. I was there. I held a weapon. In boot camp, they gave me a rifle, and I held the rifle because I had no other choice. I ate the corpses of animals. I ate dairy. I ate eggs. I paid people to rape, murder, enslave for me. I know that I'm a good person. I look inside and I see good. I know that a lot of people around me are good people. I know that my father is a good person. I know that my mother is a good person. I know that my sisters are good people. I know that many of my friends are good people, and all of them are committing horrible actions. All of them are supporting atrocities, even though they are good people. So this allows me to think that everyone is a good person. That all the people who are supporting horrible things, committing horrible things, doing horrible actions are actually good inside, and the only reason that they are doing this is because they are victims of mind viruses that were planted in their minds by oppressive systems, very manipulative oppressive systems, very manipulative cults. This is why I believe that everyone is fundamentally good. I hope you agree with this line of reasoning. I hope you can see it. I hope you can think about good people around you who are doing horrible things. You can continue believing that they are fundamentally good people and that they just have been captured by systems of oppression. I've seen so many good people justify terrible things because they believe that some people are just bad. Yes, yes. This is the way that this works. If you do not believe that everyone is fundamentally good, then this allows you to tag others, to brand others as bad, and this justifies doing bad things to them, and then you become the bad one. You see the irony? You see the way that this. Please continue believing that everyone is good. Leo is a good person, but he found himself in a situation where he has power and where I, stood against the way that he wanted to exercise his power. This is why I believe that power corrupts. Here we see it very, very clearly. The power that he held made him speak in a very nasty way and block someone who was supposed to be his friend. And I want to sum up the situation now. Let me tell the story from start to finish. And what happened, very succinctly, is that I stood up to a dairy farmer, and the result was that this dairy farmer got very upset, and then my supposed allies in the uh, fight against the oppression of non human animals started cooperating with this dairy farmer to punish me for the way that I offended him and to push me out of the space. Please look at what happened. People who truly believe that they are part of the opposition to the enslavement and oppression of non-human animals, to the non-human animal holocaust, they truly believe that they are part of the resistance. But when push came to shove, quite literally, because they were threatening to beat me up, those dairy farmers, when push came to shove, they chose the side of the dairy farmer over the side of the true radical who told the dairy farmer the truth. And this, I think, means just in a very factual way, this means that they are part of the system that they are supposedly against. And I think that we should be very, very wary. We should stand guard and check ourselves all the time and see, are we serving the system or are we going against the system? Are we resisting or are we cooperating? And Nadav cooperated, and Gidon cooperated, and Leor cooperated, and River cooperated. They all cooperated. They all cooperated with the system of human supremacy and carnism. They cooperated with these systems against someone who resisted. Because they are still infected by the mind virus. And one of the reasons that they are infected with the mind virus of carnism is that they are still infected with the mind virus of Zionism. And this is not even debatable. Of course, they define themselves as Zionists. You see how not eradicating this mind virus means that the mind virus still controls you. And then, even when you are fighting the fight, you are resisting the system that you claim to resist, even then you find yourself cooperating. Be very, very wary. Billions of animals are on our side, but they are forcibly removed from the space. You know, there was a moment where Nadav did an impromptu vote. He was like, who is for kicking Alon out? And some people raised their hand and they said that they are for kicking me out. But I believe that if this vote actually included the billions and billions and billions, hundreds of billions of animals who are enslaved and who, in their name, I spoke, definitely the cows who are being enslaved by that guy who I called a Nazi and a murderer, if this vote included them, then the results would be quite different. Just like if there was an actual vote about what's going on in Palestine between the river and the sea that actually included all the inhabitants, even just the human inhabitants, for those human supremacists who wouldn't like what I have to say about non-human animals voting, if it included all the human inhabitants between the river and the sea, then Zionism, then the vote would be against Zionism and not for Zionism. But because some are removed from the space, not counted for the votes, Zionism can continue operating. And of course, non-human animals are not counted in the vote. Of course, they are not counted. They are never counted. And these people who are supposedly activists for the liberation of non-human animals did not count the cows who are enslaved by this guy who I called a Nazi and a murderer. If they counted, the results would be very different. All this over the heads of the victims. If the chickens and cows could speak out, I'm quite sure they would want us to speak the way Alon does. And this is why I speak the way that I do. Because I think, what would the cows want me to say to this guy? What would the cows want me to say to this guy? Nadav, would the cows want me to go to this guy and go, please, please release them, please, 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 I will be your friend, please release them, so that this guy can say, no, fuck you, I make money, fuck you. Or would these cows want me to go to this guy and stand up proudly and say, "You are a Nazi and a murderer," and make him feel crappy and give him an experience that he will never, ever, ever forget? Are you speaking for the animals, Nadav, when you are nice to the people who enslaved them? Are you speaking for the animals when you say, "No, don't call them Nazis, don't call them murderers, don't say the truth"? Are you speaking for the animals, Nadav? I don't believe that you are. Are you speaking for the animals when you remove activists who do say the truth from the space, or threaten to remove them from the space, or do everything that you can to remove them from the space that the animals were already removed from? Tomorrow, we will speak directly about creating antagonism. I will explain why we always need to create more and more and more antagonism. That the only way to bring the revolution is to create more and more antagonism. But for now, I think I'm done with this specific story. I was feeling very crappy before I clicked the go live button. Now I'm feeling just slightly less crappy. So thank you, everyone, for expressing your solidarity with me, for listening to my story, to what I have to say, and for learning together from what's going on in these situations where you challenge the authority that other people pretend to have. New to your channel today, but I subscribed. Cool, Brett. Welcome. Broken hearts should be shared, yes. I still need to do an episode about solidarity, about how important solidarity is. Look at how my supposed allies in the struggle against, in the resistance against the oppression of non-human animals, my supposed allies did not show solidarity to me. And look at the results of this. Solidarity is very, very important. I've embraced a more animistic worldview, and just from the idea of "you are what you eat" means we're all just consuming terror and fear and horror. This is true. You know, it's funny because I believe that the most important goal that I have as an activist against oppression is to encourage more and more people to be less and less selfish. Because when you are not selfish, you can connect with others, and you can care about others, and you can act to the liberation of everyone. And I truly believe that this is the correct way. But even if I concede we should all be selfish, still I think the basic conclusions of the messages that I bring are the same. Like from a very selfish point of view, why would you consume death? Why would you consume terror, fear, horror? Why would you consume these things? This will make you sick. This will bring you bad karma. This will make you sick, both mentally, energetically, morally, spiritually, and also physically. Just a scientific fact that consuming meat, dairy, and eggs makes you physically ill. Just a scientific fact. So even if you just come at it from a purely selfish point of view, you still need to stop consuming the corpses and the results of the oppression and enslavement of animals, of non-human animals. But of course, I think the deep reason, the correct reason to stop doing it is being unselfish, is feeling a connection with everyone. Okay, so on this note, I will finish the fifth session of Revolution Live. Tomorrow, I will start speaking about creating antagonism. We will also speak about solidarity. I have a lot of topics that are running through my mind that I want to speak about. I'm very glad about this this line that I open, that I can express my thoughts on a daily basis, because I have a lot of thoughts, and it seems to me that if I don't express them, then this is the reason that I become burnt out. This is the reason that I become depressed. I think it's good that I express these thoughts. I'm glad that there are at least some people in the world who want to listen to these thoughts and participate in this discussion. There are many more topics that I want to address, but for now, from occupied Palestine, have a great evening wherever you may be in the world, and peace and justice for all, and end all oppression and all violence and all supremacy. Bring prosperity and peace and justice and freedom to everyone. Bye bye.